Today I'm in the outskirts of Nagoya. I'm driving the new BMW iX50. It's my first EV only trip. I've been taking full advantage of the awesome EV charge network that we have in Japan. And the reason for that is that I'm able to come to places like these. This is Daddy Motorworks. This is a shop that customizes pretty much anything you want. They're very famous for engine swaps. And in particular this hachiroku that has had a new heart transplanted into it. This is the Yaris GR, or GR Yaris rather, 3-cylinder turbo 1.6 engine. As you can see, there's only 3 coils up there. And Autosan, who's just over there, has been working on this car for a little over a year. I actually shot and featured this car last year when he was still kind of putting the engine in the engine bay and kind of figuring out things, you know, how it's all gonna line up. So as you see here, he's made a flat-mounted intercooler, which will eventually have a nice gaping hole in the bonnet to let the air pass through and get the most optimal cooling possible. It looks pretty dramatic with the exhaust coming out of the bonnet here, but it's actually running the stock turbo. I mean, everything is stock. What you see here is stock except for this side here. He fabricated a custom intake manifold, and he's using an electronic Bosch throttle, which feeds into these titanium pipes into the intercooler. So hot side and cold side, it's beautifully made. I mean, he's really taken a lot of care in, you know, routing the oil lines and all the wiring. Beautiful execution. He's a very busy guy with lots of, you know, paying projects. So this is actually his practice drift car. It's supposed to be a beater, you know, kind of like a missile, but I don't think it's going to end up being treated quite so badly. And, you know, on his downtime, like today's supposed to be closed, he works on it and has slowly pretty much completed it. So what remains to be done now is just a shakedown test to get the baseline ECU settings going, and then you'll probably head to a dyno and set the car up properly. So we'll definitely hear the car later on. We'll bring it outside in the big space he has there. But let's take a quick walk around and see what it's all about. So the paint was done as Ishikawa Body, very famous for custom body works. They just built an amazing S13 that was at Wreckfest. He's rocking some very, very old school Speed Hunter stickers. He's a big fan of Speed Hunters and always rocking our t-shirts, stickers, so, you know, super cool to see. Just general look at his shop. He's always working on really cool older cars, very nondescript, but always running some funky, you know, engine swaps. Beautiful Fairlady 2000 here. Not sure what's happening to this one. This BMW 2002 was here last year. And as you can see, it runs a Honda S2000 engine. So he's in the process of doing all the wiring, which is probably the most hectic part of them all. Yeah, this will definitely be one to shoot. Oh, here's Autosan. Oh, by the way, he's rocking one of my t-shirts. ありがとうございます。これからハーネス作る。ハーネス今作ってる。あ、作ってる。So we'll have a quick look inside. That's the mess of wires, which eventually will end up looking pretty clean, as we just saw in the hachiroku. I mean, like I said, he does like super neat and cool work. There's a Kenmeri over here, and I'm not sure we're going to be able to see what's up there, but that's a 180 that was here last year. I believe it's a V8. So he's going to be doing an electric power steering conversion to this Kenmeri. It's not a GTR, it's a more run-of-the-mill GTX, so it runs a L-series engine. But it's extremely clean. Just, it's amazing how much care and attention goes into, you know, maintaining these cars and especially these engines. But let's go back to the 86 here and maybe ask Autosan to kind of run through what he's done to it. エンジンはミッションは何使った？
ミッションは
ZN6。
新しい86。
新しい86。So it runs a 6-speed from the ZN6 ね。ZN6 86. So not the new GR 86 that just came out, but the one before. So right down to the flange, he's built up this intake manifold. でもまだテストしなかった。
まだセッティングは取れてない。
レスポンスは普通の普通。コンピューターは何使う？
コンピューターリンク。
So it uses a Link ECU, and as I said before, it's linked to a Bosch electric throttle. It's a pretty clean setup. It's, like I said, it's built for mainly track use. I don't think this is going to be registered for the road. And it runs a digital dash here with some gauges that he kind of designed himself. So it's basically like a PC. It runs Windows. But as you can see here, he's added some reinforcement linked up to the cage, and it's all finished up in matte gray. So while he's setting up the display, we'll look at some stickers. Again, some old school Speed Hunters one. AliExpress, because he buys a lot of stuff in China, like this GR emblem, which he was telling me is actually not real, but close enough. I mean, the cool thing about Autosan is that he does these crazy conversions and swaps, and it's all kind of catered around being affordable. It's nothing like crazy expensive. It's something that some customers can aspire to and come here, and get done from him. So it's all very obtainable. So the display is now running. All sorts of information here. I mean, the exhaust is extremely short, so it's pretty farty, but I'm sure it sounds better when it gets going. Definitely sounds like a 3-cylinder at idle. So since I visited last year, he's had an addition to his team because he was doing everything himself. This new hire is actually a very young girl that decided to learn how to fabricate and weld, and she actually had a part in creating the body harness in the hachiroku. It's really cool to see young people get into these kind of jobs that really are kind of dying out as interesting cars. It kind of fades away in Japan, but hopefully, people like her will show the new generation what it's all about. So we're just talking about the fenders now. Yahuoku katta ne.
ヤフオクのを改造してる。
So they're actually quite cheap because it's kind of like a no brand from Yahoo Auction for both the front and the back over fenders. And for the interior, we have a nice Recaro FRP bucket with minimal padding. This is a seat that's extremely popular now in Japan because it's pretty affordable and it gives you a great seating feel on track. So that's the shift lever that actuates the ZN6 Hachiroku transmission. And again, a bit of gusseting on the roll cage to tie it all in. Racing fuel tank out the back for balance. Battery passenger side. So it's extremely well executed missile car. Okay, so the cool thing is we actually get to see this car in movement after following the build for a year and seeing it at the Tokyo Auto Salon, nostalgic 2 days. So Autosan is going to take it out. You can hear it and see it. No drifting though, unfortunately. Dekinai ne. Also, it would be a pity to spoil this nice surface he has here. Although I'm sure eventually it would be hard to kind of resist. There you go. It's actually moving under its own power. Finally see it under the light. So the cool thing
about this car is that Taniguchi actually came to check it out, and he wants to build something similar, but probably with a different engine. You know, kind of like a modern take on a 86. Might be using the MRS engine, actually, Autosan was saying. So he's definitely created something of high interest. Arigatou gozaimasu.
Hi.
Oh, by the way, this is the good car. This is the practice car, right over here. So this is the I guess the hachiroku missile that he picked up and is gonna use to practice before taking this out for like a proper few laps. Oh, we didn't look at the brakes. So these are R32 GTR brakes. He machined the actual Nissan logo out of them. Of course, it's a Toyota, you don't want to do that. And the Chevron racing wheels kind of fit pretty nicely. That's it for this episode. Let me know what you thought in the comments below.